Hey vinyl community, thanks for tuning in to Mountain Man Picker channel. In today's video, I go on a pick at an estate sale and I run into more than 90 vintage vinyl, jazz, blues, soul, some rock records, and I end up buying the whole collection. So you want to stick through the whole video. By the end of the video, you're going to learn all about where this collection came from and how I ended up bumping into this deal. And I'm also going to share with you some of my top picks out of this collection that I scored. So that's coming right up. Stay tuned. Mark, tell us a little bit about the record collection, where it came from.
All right. Well, it belonged to my brother-in-law, Raymond George. Ray grew up in the Air Force. His dad was Air Force. They settled in Widefield. Graduated from Widefield High in 65. Joined the Marines, served in Vietnam. He may have heard Adrian Cronhauer. Hello, good morning, Vietnam. You may have heard him. Anyway, he was always kind of into the theater and so on. Got out of the Marines, came back to Colorado Springs, lived up in Manitou with all the hippies, and got into disc jockey work. Forget the station here, maybe KSSS or one of those.
Cool.
And eventually, I guess, had enough of that life and decided to go back in the military and join the Army, and was a helicopter mechanic for a while. And then he got into the Armed Forces radio and TV work, where our overseas bases, they provide radio and TV programs produced by American soldiers, airmen, Navy people, to kind of keep them in touch with the U.S. while they're overseas. So he worked in Panama, he worked in Germany, and he ultimately became an instructor at the Defense Information School, something like that, at Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indianapolis. And he retired from the Army, and he worked for several years in civil service out at Peterson Air Force Base in the audio-visual business out there. And that's the story of
cool.
Raymond George.
So that explains some of these releases that are in here are from Holland, it looks like, and the UK.
Yeah.
And Germany, I think.
Yeah.
But
some of them have a little tag on them saying not for resale.
Yeah.
Because they were from the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think they gave them to them.
hey, thanks, Mark.
You
and
bet.
God bless your brother for leaving that
Yes, sir.
awesome collection back. I know what we're going to be doing for Christmas. We're going to be listening to
Yeah.
records.
Yeah.
Merry
That's what you
Christmas.
like to do,
Let
too,
me,
right?
quick comment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Flash Cadillac.
Yeah.
You ever hear of them?
I've heard of it.
Local
Yeah.
band. Ray went to high school with one of the guys who formed the band up at the University of Colorado Boulder in the late 60s. He was a student up there and got with some guys and they started playing. A guy named, I'll think of it in a minute. But this
Flash
band,
Cadillac.
Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids was their original name. And then they had a track on American Graffiti. They had a appearance on Happy Days, Herbie and the Heartbeats, and they also were the band in Apocalypse Now.
Huh.
They flew them out to the Philippines and filmed them playing.
Wow, that's cool.
They never made it to the top level of the bands, but they were always out there. And in fact, they had their last show about 2 months ago at a place called Stargazers Theater here in Colorado Springs. And all of them are, 78 and above. But it was a great show. So I
awesome.
wear this also.
That is cool as heck.
The guy who went to high school with Raymond was Warren Knight.
Warren Knight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stargazers Theater sounds like a cool place to go on a date.
That does sound like a good
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Would you like to go with me?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm married. I don't know if you caught my
we'll
name.
both go with it.
I'm Mrs. Mountain Man.
I'll bring my wife.
There you go. Well, Mark, thanks a lot, man.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas. And these records are going to a good home. So
Great. Appreciate you taking them off my hands.
happy to do it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, let's jump into this collection. I've picked out about 30, 35 records here that I'm listening to right now. And I welcome your comments. If you see any in here that you are fond of or know a lot of details about, please let us know in the comments. Okay, these are in no particular order. Let's jump into the first one. Joe Ferell, Penny Arcade. I had never heard this record before, and I was just listening to it today. Really cool jazz fusion, funky stuff going on in this record. And this is a gatefold copy of it. Another cool thing about this album and most of the other albums I'm going to be going through, and I won't pull all the vinyls out, but you can see the promo label. So this is a promotional copy. And a lot of these records I picked up are radio station copies, as you heard from Mark's testimony about where these records came from. Most of these came from the radio station where the guy worked at. So this is one example of that. So first one, Joe Ferell, Penny Arcade. Okay, this next one is a box set that I'm listening to, and it's cool because it's got Freddy Hubbard, it's got Ron Carter on here, Joe Ferell, who we just looked at, George Benson. There's a lot of artists on here, and it's got 2 LPs, action-packed with jazz fusion, cool stuff like that. So I'm listening to this one right now. Good box set. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, next I've got Tom Scott, and this is a promotional copy, not for sale, but this record is really awesome. It's got more jazz fusion. Okay, Cornell Dupri, Teasin'. It's also a promotional DJ copy. Just started listening to this record. It's really funky. It's got lots of jazz and soul. Really good record. Enjoying this one as well. Okay, this one's got some awesome Latin jazz on it. Jerry Gonzalez, and I think it says Yayo Mi Cure, might be Yayo. You let me know, guys. Okay, but I've never heard this album before, and I'm a new fan of Jerry Gonzalez for sure. Latin jazz, really good stuff here. All right, some really good funk, soul, and blues here on this record. David T. Walker, Press On. And this is also a promo vinyl copy. See the promo label there. Very, very clean. Almost every single record that I got here from Mark in his collection is in VG plus condition. Now, there are some that are not, but most of them are. And this is another good example of one vinyl that is very, very clean, promo copy, David T. Walker, Press On. All right, pressing on. This one is one that is brand new to me, and I've done some history on this guy. He actually has quite a long history. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Idris, you tell me. Muhammad, Power of Soul. Now, this album is actually a pretty fairly valuable record. I'm glad I found it. It's also a not for sale, demonstration only LP. And the quality of the vinyl on this one is VG plus or better. But it's a very good album. A lot of soul, jazz, cool music on this record. Glad I found it. Okay, another couple of promos that I've got. Jazz and bluesy kind of jazz. Ron Carter. Man, this is a really cool album too. I'm glad I found this one. It's also a promo, and then another promo here from Ron Carter, Blues Farm. I'm listening to both of these right now. These are probably going to stay in my collection. Just fantastic stuff here from Ron Carter. Enjoying it. This double LP here too is a really good one as well. Cannonball Adderley and Friends. It's got Ernie Andrews, Ray Brown, Victor Feldman. It's got a lot of people on here. Lou Rawls. Double LP, and it's in super good condition. It's a radio station copy. Glad I picked this one up too. I'm enjoying it. All right, speaking of more jazz, funk, and soul, good stuff. This one here is called Maestro. I don't even know how to pronounce that. You guys will have to help me on that one as well. But this copy, the vinyl is on Blue Note, and this one's been used quite a bit. But I'm enjoying the listen. This one's probably going to stay in my personal library. Very, very good jazz record. All right, speaking of jazz, I also picked up some Freddy Hubbard, Skydive. This is a really, really good record. Glad I found this one. It's also a promo. And then Freddy Hubbard with Stanley Turrentine in concert. This is volume 2, I believe. No, volume 1. But it's a gatefold copy as well. These are really good records right here for jazz fusion. Enjoying these as well. All right, more jazz, funky soul, stuff like that. Chico the Master. This is a really, really good record to listen to if you want to get up and going, moving around. Really good jazz on this. A lot of percussion. Chico the Master. Glad I found this one. Okay, I also picked up several German releases. This is an example of one, Minimal Kids, No Age, some more jazz. I would call it cool jazz. It's really good stuff. Never heard this before. Glad I found that. And then another one that I find hard to pronounce, brand new to this guy, Kip Hanrahan, I believe is how you say it. But these copies of his records are just really good. Vertical's Currency, and then this other one is called Days and Nights of Blue Luck Inverted. And I'm enjoying these. These are really good. Cool jazz, contemporary jazz. And then also have another Kip Hanrahan that I haven't yet listened to. But what's cool is it's got Jack Bruce on here. That's the bass player from Cream, right? So I haven't checked this one out yet. It's also got Jerry Gonzalez and Ricky Ford. It's got several people on here. I'm looking forward to listening to this one. This is actually a double LP, and I'm just looking. This one I'm going to check out today. Another really good record. I'm glad I found. All right, this one was really interesting. It's on the promo label as well. But this is Irresistible Impulses, and it's got, Irrepressible Impulses. I'd never seen this one before. You can see the word jazz right there, so you know what you're getting when you listen to this record. But what's cool is you got John Coltrane on here, Alice Coltrane, John Clemmer, Cliff Coulter, Archie Shepp, Chico Hamilton, Alice Coltrane again, Milt Jackson, Archie Shepp. A lot of cool stuff on this record. I just started listening to it. And it says the music you don't hear on radio, at least for the time being. This is also a promotional DJ copy. Glad I found that one. All right, moving on. All right, some more Latin jazz. We got Chick Corea and Return to Forever, Light as a Feather. Dynamite Records, got some good light jazz on it, Latin jazz. Good stuff. Glad I found that one. And then also I've got, just started listening to this one, Randy Weston Blue Moses. It also has Freddy Hubbard, Grover Washington, and Hubert Laws on it. Dynamite record. Really glad to find that one. Also a promotional copy. Most of these are promotional copies, and a lot of them have the little circle here because it meant they were at the radio station, for the radio station. Another one I'm listening to right now, Milt Jackson, Goodbye with Hubert Laws. It's a great album as well. And now, jumping into some things I'm more familiar with, I bought this one for my wife for Christmas. Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. Don't need to say much more about that one. This is an awesome record by Marvin, and it is a very, very clean copy on the Tamla label. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, a couple other records I got that are going in my collection. Bobby Bland and B.B. King together again live. And then never seen this one before, B.B. King Size, and both of these are super clean. I'm a big B.B. King blues fan as well, so hanging on to these, B.B. King. All right, this next one is one that I did not have in my collection. I have a lot of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young and their individual stuff, but this is David Crosby, If Only I Could Remember My Name. And it is kind of a trashed copy as far as the record jacket, but the vinyl is good. I would say it's a VG quality vinyl, and this album has got so many people on it. Even Greg Raleigh is on here. You've got Graham Nash, Neil Young. I mean, there's a ton of people on here, and of course David Crosby himself. But this is a first pressing. This is staying in my personal collection. This is one I've been missing. I was glad to pick that one up. Another album I just started listening to, and I'd never heard of this guy before. Grassroots Guitar, George Cromarty or Cromarty. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but this is a promotional copy. It's worth a few bucks, and it's got some good guitar music on it. I'm really starting to enjoy this one. Might hang on to that. Here's another one that's a good rock and classic rock type album, J.F. Murphy and Salt, The Last Illusion. I was glad to find that one. This one is also in very good condition as far as the vinyl goes. And then this one from the Straubs, Hero and Heroine. This one is actually a promotional copy, so I was glad to pick that one up. Don't have that in my collection. All right, another one of my favorite guitarists of all time, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather. Glad to pick up this copy. This is a UK release, and it is in dynamite condition. I don't think they'd ever listened to it before. And then I also picked up The Police, Ghost in the Machine. Do not have this record in my personal collection. I've never been a huge Police fan, but I should be, because they're phenomenal musicians, and I've always loved Sting's music. And anyway, really good band, so I'm glad I picked that up. I got a super clean copy of Rolling Stones' Tattoo You. This one stayed in my collection. It's like practically brand new. I mean, the vinyl on it is dynamite. Also, now this is a record that a lot of people have in their collection. It's not hard to find. Eric Clapton, Backless, but this is a unique copy of it. Not only is it super clean, but this is, I can't remember the exact specs on it, but it was hard to locate this particular version of Eric Clapton Backless. It's worth a little bit more money than the other ones, and it's super clean, so I'm glad to have that. Most of my Eric Clapton Backless copies are scuffed up, and anyway, you know what I mean. Then also, you might have noticed all of the Little Feat records. Well, I'm a pretty big fan of Little Feat. This one right here is in super good shape. Excellent record, double LP, and I was glad to find that one. These two are promotional copies of Little Feat. Feats Don't Fail Me Now. It's got a misprint on the label. And then this one's Little Feat, Time Loves a Hero. You can see, though, these are taped up just to keep the records from falling out. So I'm glad to have these for my own personal collection. I won't be trying to sell these in my eBay store, but they're promotional copies, and I was glad to pick up 3 Little Feat albums. Okay, here's the last one that I was really excited to have is the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. Now let me explain why I'm so excited to have this one. I've never really thought of this album as part of the Beatles collection, my own personal collection. But side 1 of this record is really good. You know, you've got Yellow Submarine, All Together Now, Hey Bulldog, which is one of my favorite Beatles songs. It's All Too Much, and All You Need Is Love. Also on side 2, you have mostly orchestra stuff that George Martin put together, if I'm not mistaken, for this release. From what I know about the Beatles and their history, they weren't fond of this whole idea of being cartoons and having movies like that. So don't know a whole lot of history on this one. I'm going to research it, but I do know little bits and pieces of it. And this is a very clean copy. I believe it was probably from the radio station. It also has a little hole here in the top. And it's a good version of Yellow Submarine. I'll just say that. All right, so I was very happy to get that. Then there's another 60 or so records I'm not going to jump into today. You saw them as I was flipping through them. You may be asking, what was I doing when I was setting things aside here and there? Well, everything I was setting to the left, those were records I've either sold before, I've seen them before, or I wanted to add them back in my personal collection. Everything else that was staying in the box or to the side or in front of me, those were records that I felt like I really needed to research and do a little digging on. And then I finally, by the time I got done going through all these records, I was able to strike a deal with Mark. He's a wonderful businessman. He gave me everything for $2 a record. So I ended up paying about $230. And he was happy. I was happy. I'm still happy. I've still got a lot of music to listen to. And a lot of those records you saw in this video are going to be going into our eBay store. So make sure you check the description for the link to our eBay store. It's called 5 Star General Store. And you can purchase records from us right there. Please put in the comments anything that you saw that I went through here that you know a lot about or that you would like to comment on. And please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.